AQ's Blog and Grill.
Welcome everyone to AQ's Blog and Grill. We're happy tonight to have Gary Vaynerchuk with us. Gary's got a great new book out, Jab, 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 Right Hook. And Gary's going to answer some questions and share some of his knowledge with us. The hardest working guy on the internet, Gary V. Welcome, Gary.
So first, Alan, thanks so much for having me. Second, I'm thrilled that you're a boxing fan. So much like me, you're probably loving this Jab, 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 Right Hook title that I have. It's kind of my philosophy, as you know, and as many at home probably don't know. Boxing is known as the sweet science. I've always been very affected by the nuances of boxing. I'm affected right now currently by the nuances of social networks, the little differences between Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Pinterest, Instagram, and how one should storytell on them. And so it felt like a perfect analogy. It's kind of how I do my social networking. You and I have been engaged for a long time. You're aware that I live the Jab, 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 Right Hook, which is the give, 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 ask, right?
Right.
2 years at a time, every day, I will just answer your question, give you intros, give away free stuff, be a good guy. And then, you know, every 2 years or so when a book comes out, I'm throwing right hooks. It's buy my book, please support me. How many books will you buy?
Yep.
And so that's kind of the philosophy I live by.
Fabulous. And you know, Gary, you are the most generous guy on the web. There's no doubt about that. And you know, my favorite book so far is The Thank You Economy. So thank you. And Seth's review here, a blurb on the back. Once again, Gary is generously showing the way, teaching by example and making the truth obvious. Buy this book for your clueless boss. Hey, wait a minute. Who gave me this book?
Who in the office gave it to you?
So, Gary, you were at HubSpot last year and really killed. You crushed the last keynote. And I think one of the most important things I've heard in the social ecosystem in the past couple of years, and you said it. You said, if content is king, context is God. Mm-hmm. Expand on that a little bit for us, because I mean, this proclamation that content is king kind of glosses over the whole thing.
I'm a huge fan of content. I'm obsessed with it. But content now is in rapid supply, right? We have a supply and demand issue with content. There's so much good content going on right now that it's not enough to just be great at content. You have to, I believe, in my opinion, create context with the end user. And I think too many people think that they can just do it through content. Right? When you're great at content, you think you just put it out there and people will buy it. I think the world shifted because, you know, there's more and more Gary Vaynerchuks and Seth Godins, right? Like 5-6 years ago, there were less. Now everybody has a platform, everybody has an opportunity, and there's more smart marketers than just us 2, us 10, us 40, us 80.
Right.
You know, I myself came out of nowhere, right? There was all these people before me. I'm doing a wine show, and then I started exposing my marketing skills behind it. And so, I think that building context, and Twitter is the tool, right? I mean, now there's a way to build context through good content. That's what jabs are.
Right.
Putting out content that is actually valuable to somebody else. So yes, I believe in context immensely.
Yeah, and you prove it on a day-to-day basis. There's no doubt about it. So when you're on Twitter, who is it that you're following? Who are you paying attention to?
Nobody.
Because? Because
I'm spending absolutely all my time engaging with people that are reaching out to me. I've hit critical mass.
Right.
Over the last 2007, I mean, we're getting into 7 years, right? Over the last 6 or 7 years, I've built up enough of an audience that I don't even have enough time to respond to everybody who tweets me.
Right.
So I'm not consuming information, I'm consuming engagement.
Gotcha.
And then I'm giving back to, and the way I'm consuming information is I'm building a very large agency right now where I'm learning a lot of things, and then it gives me the foresight and insight and content to actually pay back to my community. And so I'm actually repeating historically what I did with Wine Library. By running a business for 10 years,
right,
building a business, it gave me the ammo and the content to storytell to other people. I'm almost doing that again. By spending all this time with 75 Fortune 500 companies deep in social networks, I'm learning so much that I can share them with you and everybody else who's watching. So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
So on Twitter, what I'm just doing is I'm responding. I'm counterpunching.
Gotcha. So, you know, you have such a great entrepreneurial story. I mean, working as early as you did, and then helping your dad, and then going out and having this aha moment, which you said at the One Wine Show, hey, if you guys aren't doing this online, you're going to be left behind. What kind of advice do you share with young entrepreneurs?
I'm worried that young entrepreneurs think it's easier than it is, that they think they can just go out there and, fakepreneurs, right? That like just raise some money,
Right.
it'll happen, it's easy. A lot of people are getting caught, and that is disappointing. And so, what I really try to teach them is there's no shortcuts. And really, I mean, it's super cliche. It's not like some amazingly profound original statement. But boy, do I believe in it. Like, there's no way to create the context without doing it.
All those hours of practice, all those hours of being in the ring and sparring and working up a sweat. That's why they call it sweat equity, right?
Absolutely. Like, when I first heard the notion of Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours, and that became a cliche marketing thing, I didn't usually buy into those kind of things, but I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, that's how I got here. Like, I've been thinking about these consumer behaviors since I was selling baseball cards and trying to figure out where to put my cards on my table and what kind of sign and which table did I want in the mall.
Yeah.
The most strategic place to put it. And how did I react to what was happening and what stories could I tell that nobody else was telling?
Yeah. The story that you tell in Crush It, and about the sports cars or sports cards and everything is just a fabulous inspiration. And I don't teach entrepreneurship at the university. I help people learn about it, and I'm referring to you more often than I am to Richard Branson or anything else, because I think you're right at that level where, look at this guy who did not have advantages leveraged, and he leveraged through his mind, thinking and anticipating and working his ass off.
I think the thing that's true is that why capitalism and entrepreneurship is so fun is it feels as close to fair as it gets out there, right? Like that if you are gifted with that talent, that business, unlike, some of the other things that people can have talent, is you can force your way in. You don't have to be discovered.
So Gary, a lot of people get you. You've got 1 million followers on Twitter. You're selling your books. They're all bestsellers. Who doesn't get you? What's the persona of the person that says, no, I don't go with Gary's philosophy?
I think that who doesn't get me? I think people with vested interest in things being the way they are.
Mm-hmm.
I push a lot towards, this is a change. And if you're sitting there and you hear a guy who says, don't spend any money on banner ads, and you're making all your money on banner ads, or a guy who's saying like everybody's fast forwarding commercials and you make money based on commercials, you're not necessarily going to love it. I think some people that just don't like extreme extroverts or brashness or ego or cursing or what the correct polite thing to do, I can rub people the wrong way. As much as I have selfishness, I have just as much empathy and giving and caring. And so I think ultimately vested interest against the things that I'm fighting, because I'm trying to win legacy. I'm trying to win historical correctness.
Right.
Leverage for business opportunity. And so that makes people that are on the wrong side of history quite vulnerable. Right.
Gary, just a quick one final question, and that is, if you had to describe the Gary brand, what is it that you've created so far in your brand equity?
I think somebody who's really trying to push the envelope of scaling the unscalable.
Okay.
You made a statement early on, and I know your place in this space and know that you interact with a lot of people, and I appreciate that, because I know you wouldn't say it if it wasn't true, which is, I am trying to do that James Brown, hardest working man in show business.
Yep.
I'd love to be known as the hardest working man in social media, mainly because I think I am.
You are.
I'm struggling to find the person who's putting more time and effort in things that are super not scalable, may not seem so obviously time worthy, and there's not that many people that are associated at my level, which I'm very fortunate to have, and I feel like I got there a lot to do with the fact that I'm scaling this unscalability, and so I'm proud about that. And so I would say, the brand would be scaling the unscalable, and that I'm quite proud. I don't need to be the smartest. I don't need to be the most right.
Right.
I love the fact that I think deep down a lot of people who are closely paying attention recognize that I'm putting in the most effort.
There's no doubt you are. And Gary, we're going to give away 12 of your autographed books for subscribers to AQ's Blog and Grow. We just started it. So if you're listening and you're going to watch this later, please sign up for your subscription. Gary, thank you. You crushed it. I'm better with a right hook. Anyway, thanks, Gary.
AQ's Blog and Grill.